Elite Facts presents
5 unbelievable haunted islands that would scare the crap out of you.
5.
Isla de las Muñecas. You might remember that we previously included this on our previous list based on creepiest towns and cities. Well, we'll be perfectly honest, we didn't think we'd be doing a spin-off video based on haunted islands, and we certainly can't leave this gem off this list. Also known as the Island of the Dolls, it's situated in Xochimilco, Mexico, in the heart of the old Aztec canals. In the 1950s, a man named Don Julian Santana Barrera made the small island his home. Legend has it that a little girl drowned in the nearby canal and Don felt haunted by her spirit, so he began trading his vegetables for old dolls, which he placed throughout the island to appease her spirit. If we were to hear that story for the first time while being there, we can guarantee you we'd be swimming away from that island. Screw waiting for a boat or whatever mode of transport is used to get there. A reputable psychic medium has said that he was actually seeing an evil spirit that caused the girl to drown. His nephew, Anastasio Velazquez, who has taken over and is now in charge of the island, said to the cameras of Destination Truth that in broad daylight he has seen the head of dolls turn and move up, then move back down. Also, according to Anastasio, it is prudent to bring a doll if you visit to appease the spirits of the island. As soon as a doll is brought to the island, he says it will connect with the hundreds of others. The Destination Truth crew didn't want to take any chances and followed that recommendation when they investigated the island for the night. The highlight of their investigation was, of course, when they captured on camera the eye of a doll opening by itself, just as they were asking for it. Another dramatic moment was when one of the crew members spent some time in the old shack and heard loud dragging noises on the roof. This island is without a doubt one of the creepiest places on Earth. As we previously stated in the Strange Tourist Attractions video, it's now populated by hundreds of decrepit, decomposing baby dolls that hang from trees. Some say they possess the soul of the girl. While it was never meant to be a tourist attraction, the creepiness of the island has attracted so many that it's now open for tours on the weekend. 4. Okinawa Island. The history of this island pretty much speaks for itself, really. It's kind of obvious why this island is creepy, all thanks to its historical significance. During World War II, an 82-day-long battle ended up in the deaths of 12,000-plus American soldiers, 95,000 Japanese soldiers, and over 10,000 Okinawa locals. 4,000 Japanese soldiers killed themselves in tunnels to avoid capture. This island also includes cliffs that soldiers and residents jumped off of, as well as eerie locations such as hospitals and hotels, both containing paranormal influences, as well as many other places on the island where paranormal activities have been witnessed. Really creepy stuff.
3.
Star Island, New Hampshire. Star Island is one of the Isles of Shoals, once the busiest commercial port on the Atlantic Ocean. Located in New Hampshire, 7 miles off the coast, it was settled in the early 1600s by fishermen. Star Island's history is quite remarkable, as it's the home to many stories, from pirates to buried treasures. It is perhaps not surprising that many claim this tiny island to be haunted. Sarah O'Connor, the island's curator, was interviewed on a TAPS episode, and she described in detail the different hauntings her and others have witnessed in the various buildings of the island. She started with Cottage E, a fisherman's home from the early 1700s. At the time of the Revolutionary War, a couple living in that house had a young child who fell off of a cliff on the edge of the island and tragically died. Many visitors who were accommodated in this house have reported being pushed down the stairs while feeling small hands on their ankles and back as they fall. Another house she mentioned was the Vaughan Cottage, which is now home of the island's museum. The curator herself has an office there, and she mentioned often hearing people playing downstairs, and also people walking above her in the attic. She also talked about a locked vault that will sometimes open and close by itself. Another haunted building mentioned is the Doctor's Cottage. 40 years ago, the doctor and his wife made a suicide pact using a cocktail of pills. The next morning, he was dead, but she woke up. Justina Meiji, an employee, claims to have seen the figure of a man walk right through the room and then right through the wall. Finally, you have the oldest building on the island, the Oceanic Hotel. Former employee Jennifer Cook said that one night she woke up abruptly to the sound of multiple doors opening and slamming shut. The fourth floor of this building is said to be the most haunted part of the hotel, as guests and employees often report hearing heavy furniture being dragged on the floor above, which is the attic. Many have reported hearing singing and actually seeing people inside the chapel through the windows, but when they go inside, they realize no one is there.
2,
Hart Island, New York. When thinking about haunted islands in New York, a lot of people will instantly think Ellis Island, due to over 3,000 immigrants being refused citizenship before dying on the island. However, we're going to be talking about Hart Island instead. Hart Island, also referred to as the Island of the Dead, both because of the horrors that took place on the island, as well as the fact that the film The Island of the Dead was shot there, was a prisoner of war camp that was operational back in 1865, a psychiatric institution, a correctional facility, and a tuberculosis sanatorium. Can you see why someone made a film about this island? Well, apparently this island has around 850,000 people buried there in mass graves. There's only one ferry to the island every month, and is rightfully out of reach for everyone except the inmates who bury the dead there.
1,
Corregidor Island, Philippines. Last but certainly not least, we have Corregidor Island, yet another island that's history more or less speaks for itself. This island is located at the entrance of Manila Bay in the Philippines. The Spanish first occupied the island in 1570 up until 1898, when it was captured by the Americans during the Spanish-American War. This island was used as a first line of defense and a prison during the Spanish occupation. The island was then eventually fortified by the Americans and became a military stronghold during the Second World War. In 1941, after the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, they attacked Corregidor. On May 6, 1942, the overwhelmed Americans capitulated to the Japanese. About 900 Japanese and 800 Americans and Filipinos died during what is called the Battle of Corregidor. Following their eventual loss, well over 3,000 Filipino and American soldiers were held hostage and were tortured up until their eventual deaths. This is some seriously dark stuff. In 1945, the Americans returned and attempted to retake the island. During this bloody war, called the Battle for the Recapture of Corregidor, over 1,000 American and Filipino soldiers died, while a staggering 6,650 Japanese soldiers also lost their lives. It's estimated that over 3,000 Japanese soldiers actually died by committing suicide, preferring that option to surrendering. The island is now a huge tourist attraction. Penitas Tunnel, which is where the bulk of the suicides happened, is now open to the public, and for those brave enough, there's even a ghost tour offered at night, where armed with only a flashlight and hopefully a camera, you can try to capture the ghosts roaming in this tunnel complex. While the Penitas Tunnel is known as the most haunted spot on the island, the hospital ruins and the old bunkers are also believed to be pretty active. And that's our list. Did we leave any out? Let us know in the comments below. Please remember to subscribe and tap the bell button to be notified when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more elite facts.